Hello everybody, I'm the Jain out with a new video. So one of you guys have actually asked me to do a tutorial on magical hit effect. So basically you have basically like an auto attack for your character, and that's like your normal attack, but then you have special attacks, maybe which does 150% of your extra 150% extra damage, and also stuns the enemy for 2 seconds and stuff like that, and add dots to your enemies, etc. So this is what we're going to start now. And one more small thing I wanted to tell you. A lot of you guys were asking for the Diablo style inventory, so that is what you guys are going to get. But it's not. It's going to be a little late because I need a little bit of preparation for that, as it is actually much harder than the uh, normal inventory style, and also I need to convey it, teach you guys in a very proper manner so it's easy for you guys to understand. So please wait for the Diablo style tutorial, inventory style tutorial. It will come soon. So back to our tutorial over here. So first, whoops. So first we're going to actually add functionality for the enemy to get stunned. So because before we actually implement our special attacks, we need to implement the functionality. So first, our first functionality is going to be the stun functionality. So here we have our enemy, and then we're going to go to our mob script. And what we're going to do is we're going to first go into our mob script and have a private bool stun. So this bool, if it is true, the target is stunned, and if it is false, it is not stunned. And second, we're going to have a public int time, stun time. So basically this is a counter to the time. So if you have a special attack which stuns the enemy for 2 seconds, it's going to set this time to 2 seconds, and it's going to count down every second to 10, and as it reaches 0, the stun will wear off. So if this integer is positive, it means that the mob is stunned. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna have, in our fighter script, we're going to have a method saying, okay, we need to stun our enemy now, and it's going to call a stun method in our mob, and it's going to stun the mob. So it might be a little bit confusing, but I will show you. So first we have our get hit method here, and then we're going to say public void get stun. So basically now what this thing will take is an int seconds. So now basically what we're going to say is we're going to say mob.getStun for these many seconds. So we're passing its parameter of seconds. And what we're going to do is we're going to say stun time is equal to seconds. So now our stun time is positive. So what we want to do is we want to first say if stun time is more than 0, we will not do any of this. Actually, it's going to be inside. So if our mob is not dead, and if you're not stunned, so if our stun time is below or equal to 0, only then we are going to do stuff. I'll explain this in a second. Or else we're not going to do stuff. So basically, if our stun time is 0 or below 0, we're going to do stuff. We're going to chase, or we're going to attack. Or else we're just not going to do anything. Okay? And actually we don't need a boolean stun, because we can just check with this statement. And now once we've done this, what we're going to do is we're going to have another method called void countdown. Let's say stun countdown. So in the previous video you must have seen that we use invoke repeating to count down. So basically we're going to call a method every second to count down our stun time. So basically what we're going to have is we're going to say we're going to first go over here and say stun time is equal to stun oops, stun time minus 1. Okay, there we go. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this method every second, and when we're gonna say if stun time is equal to 0, sorry, just doing some indenting, is less than or equal to 0, we're gonna say stun time, we're first gonna say cancel, invoke. So once it has reached, sorry, stun. So once our stun time has reached to 0, or 0, it's going to say, actually we can just put in 0, that doesn't matter. We're going to say cancel stun count invoke, cancel the method. So basically it's not going to repeat itself anymore. And the way we're going to call this method is when we say get stun, we're going to set stun time to seconds, and what we're going to do is we're going to say invoke, repeating, and we're going to have method name, time, and repeat. So first we're going to put in the method name, which is stun counts down. And what we want to do is we want to start it immediately, so we're going to put a 0 float, and then the repeat rate is 1 float. So basically it's going to start immediately. 0 means repeatedly, immediately, and 1 basically says every second. So we're going to call this method, it says stun time is equal to this, and once it gets to 0, it's going to cancel it. As simple. It's not hard. It's not that hard. So we got that set. Now, just to test this method, what we're going to do is we're going to go to our fighter script, and we're just going to go make a method somewhere, I don't know, or here. I'm going to say void stun. This is just for testing purposes. Stun mob. Actually, and then we're just gonna make a statement here. We're gonna say if inputs dot key code dot s. So basically, oops. Then we're gonna say key down. That's the method. Sorry, just checking for no errors. Okay. So we're gonna go if we press. Basically, this statement is saying if we press S, we're gonna get our opponent and opponent dot get component, and we're gonna get the mob component because we want to access the mob. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna say stun get stun. And by the way, we're gonna make this variable private, so we cannot change it from outside. We're just going to change it by accessing the get stun. So we say gonna get stun, and then we're gonna send it the number of seconds, and it's gonna change stun time to the seconds, but we're not directly going to change it. So we're gonna make it private, and we're gonna say get stun for 5 seconds. So there we go, and then we're gonna play. Hopefully it works. No guarantees. We have an opponent now, and then we say S, and as we press S, as you can see, it won't do anything for 5 seconds, and it'll come back to action. So you see, that's a stun method, but now we need to make it more intuitive. We need to actually hit the mob, and then after hitting the mob, when it reaches the impact time, it's going to stun it. So now we're gonna do that. So to achieve this effect, where we will actually stun the enemy on the impact time, so where we do the animation of the attack, and at the right impact time we're going to stun the enemy, we're going to make a special class, and this special class is going to be the whole magical effect hit itself. It might be a little confusing. I didn't explain very perfectly, but you'll just understand right now. So first we're going to have a class, a C# folder, and we're going to say special attack. So we're having a special class, a special attack class for all the special attacks. So basically, what we're gonna do is we're going to have public int damage percentage. So it's going to scale to our base damage over here. So as we know, as we level up, our base damage increases. So our special attacks is going to scale with our basic damage. So public double damage percentage, and then public int stun time. So these things we can just what we're going to do is we're going to go to player, we're going to add component special attack, and then we're going to set the percentage to maybe 1.5, so it does 150% extra damage, and you're going to stun it for 4 seconds. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our fighter, and we're going to take this off. And what we're going to do is we're going to put this whole attack functionality into one method. So we're going to say void attack public. Let's make it public. So basically our whole functionality for attacking is going to go just in this one method. And then we're going to say attack. So it's basically the same thing but better programming style. And it gives us error because we already have it. Let's call it attack methods. I don't know. I'm very bad at naming stuff. Attack method seems fine. Okay. I'm not happy with that. I don't know. Attack function seems better. Okay. And so what we're gonna do is we're going to have a variable over here saying public bool special attack. So this boolean will define if we are actually doing a special attack or not, because what happens is while we're doing a special attack we are not allowed to do auto attack together. So it's going to be all weird if you're doing a special attack animation and auto attack animation together. So what we're going to say, if we're not playing the special attack, we can go ahead and call the attack function. Okay, but now what we're going to do is we're going to have another method called public void reset attack function. Now what is going to happen is, for example, we're doing an auto attack and we press a special attack button. Maybe we do a special attack in the middle of an auto attack. What we want to do is we want to reset the auto attack back to where it started and start the special attack. So that's what we're going to do. This is a little bit of debugging. I don't know how do you call this, but like debug. No, it's not called debugging. It doesn't matter. Just ignore that. Okay. So we're going to reset the attack function, and the way we're going to do this is first we're going to, as you can see over here, we need to set click to move dot attack is equal to false, because that's what happens when our animation is ending. So we have to set our auto attack. We have to finish our auto attack immediately at the point when we start our special attack. So we're gonna say we're gonna mimic what happens at the end of our auto attack, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, you can put it in the comments and I'll explain more briefly. So we're gonna say in reset attack function, we're gonna say click to move that attack is equal to false. Impact is equal to false. So basically we have okay, so I just derped there for a second. I just lost my train of thought. So what we're going to do is after we set our attack to false and impact to false, so we're trying to reset our attack method, we're going to say animation.stop, and we're going to say stop the attack animation. So basically attack name. And what the stop do is it actually stops the attack animation and also rewinds it to the start, so it resets the attack animation itself. So that's basically resetting function. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna, whoopsie, okay. So we're gonna go to our special attack and so we're gonna have also a public key code key. So key code is basically any key on the button, like key W, E, R, F, anything. So this will basically define what if we press whichever key we define over here. On that key, we're going to do a special attack. I didn't explain that very correctly, but I will just show you. And it won't show up over here because I think it's meant to be a key. No, it's meant to be a key code. Okay, we have a must be a variable. Sorry, it's impacted. And there we go, we have a key over here. And as you can see, we have, so if I put this to N, whenever I press N, we're going to do the special attack. So for now, let's make it 1. So basically, this defines when are we going to do the special attack. So we're going to say if input dot get key down key dot yep, I think that should be right. I'm sorry, I'm not on my best shape today thinking. Yeah, that's right. So basically you're saying if we press the if the user press the key that is defined over here, we can do stuff. So basically we can check this. We can say debug.log special attack with key dot to string. Whoopsies. What? Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry, I'm doing a lot of errors today. And as we press 1, as you can see, it says special attack with key alpha 1. So basically 1 on our keyboard is called alpha 1. Don't ask me why. That is how Unity's developer decided to do. But it doesn't really matter. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to reset the attack function when we press 1. And so what's that going to do is if our player is doing any other special attack already or is doing an auto attack, it's going to reset everything and start its own. So basically we're going to say fighter. First we actually need to access these methods, we need a copy of the fighter script. So we're going to say fighter player. So this is like so that we can access our player. And it's a player dot reset attack function. So basically we're resetting it, and then we're saying player dot special attack is equal to true. So now basically we're doing a special attack. So now the auto attack cannot interrupt us because now special attack is equal to true. Okay. And now what we're gonna do is we are going to call the attack we're going to call the attack function from here in our update. And so we're going to say over here we will need another int saying public bool in action. So basically in action it's going to define if we are actually doing the special attack or not. So we're going to say if in action, and we're going to go over here and say in action is equal to true. Because after we press the key, we want our special attack in action. So if in action, we're going to call the attack function. Oopsie. Oh, sorry. Player dot attack function. And now what we're gonna do is we will need to send some parameters to this function, saying, for example, we want for how many seconds it's going to stun or how much damage it's going to scale to. So we're going to say int seconds, stun seconds, and double damage, scaled damage. Okay, and what we're going to do is in our impact, we're going to send these variables over here. I'll tell you why. Just going to copy paste seconds. And we're going to just copy paste this over here. So first we're going to call the attack function, send it how many seconds we need to stun it for and what is the scale damage, and then it's going to go to our impact and send these parameters to our impact. And what we're going to do is over here we're going to say we're going to do damage times the scaled damage. So it's going to do, if it is 1.5, it's going to do 150% more damage. If it's 2, it's going to do 200% more damage. If it's 1, it's going to do the same damage, 100% of it. So it's scaled damage, and we're going to say opponent that get component mob that get stun, and we're going to say get stun for the stun seconds. Okay, and now what we're going to do is over here we're going to say 0, 1, because our auto attacks is going to do the same. It's just going to do 100% of the damage and stun for 0 seconds. So that's going to work as normal. But what we're going to do over here is we're going to say if in action, we're going to attack player attack function, and we're going to say we will stun it for stun time, so that is defined over here. And we're going to do a scale damage percentage that we define over here. So it's going to, in our case, 1.5% damage, and for stun time, so it's going to be 4 and 1.5. And we have quite some errors over here. It turns it into an int. That's because we multiplied. Or let's actually, because this turns it into a float, we need to go over here and we take damage as an int, so we're going to make it a float. Or a double, I don't know which one. Yeah, it should be a double. And we have another one. Okay. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna cast the int, the damage at int. So we change it to int. This is kind of a little stupid, but oh well. I'll just explain what we did. So basically, we set the opponent to get hit by this much damage, by the scale damage, and we told it to get stunned by this much damage, by these many seconds. Okay, so another thing we need to add is actually to our attack function in Fighter. We need a key code key. So basically, we know that as we auto attack, we use spacebar, but when you special attack, we use 1. So what we need to do is we need to send those key codes through a parameter, and we are going to use that parameter over here to decide what key we're going to use. And one more change we need to do is in our public, we had a fighter variable over here, fighter player. We actually need to make that public, and set it to player over here by pressing the circle button and set it to player. So now basically, now that we have three parameters over here, we're going to go to our basic attack, auto attack, and we're going to say key code dot space. So it's going to send this function that, hey, I want to stun for 0 seconds to 100% of the damage, and only when the player presses a key code a space. And the same thing over here. I want to do this much stun, this much scale damage, and with this key. And those are the parameters over here. So let's try this out. We hover over, press 1, and as we and it stuns it and it does the damage. And if we increase our damage percentage to 2, it'll increase. And because it is doubles, it kills it because it does way too much damage. And let's leave it to 1.5. And now what we have a problem over here. I'll show you. What happens is once we press 1, we cannot do any auto attack anymore as I'm pressing spacebar. That's because we set our player.special attack to true, but so it never goes through this, and we have to set it back to false once our animation is over. So what we're gonna do is over here. Yep, we're gonna say if special attack. So basically, it's checking if you're doing a special attack, and if you're ending the animation, we're gonna say player. We're gonna say special attack is equal to false. Yes. So basically, if you're doing a special attack, if you're performing a special attack, at the end of it, we're gonna set it to false, back to false. And what we also need to do is we need to set our end action to, I'm not sure about this, 1 second. Yep, I'm sorry. We actually don't need in action boolean, so we can take that out. Or can we? One second, I just need to check through this. I'm sorry about this. Apparently we can have it without the in action function. I'll just check why actually that works. I'll just be back. Okay, for some reason I actually thought that we need in action boolean. So basically I thought that when we press our key, we need to make in action true, and only then we're going to call the function, but we don't actually need that functionality. I'll tell you why. I'll just delete everything. So basically the idea behind this is when we call the attack function, it's going to send the key. So it's going to send alpha 1, which is our 1 key. And here it checks only if we press the 1, only then it's going to do this. But if we don't press 1, it's not going to perform this. So it is completely fine to not have the in action variable. Okay, so now that we also set the problem of the special attack, where we can do our special auto attack again, we're going to check if that works. So we do our normal attack, and then we do our special attack and the normal attack. So our special attack gives a null because we don't have opponent 1 and special attack, and as you can see we stunned him. And now we do a spacebar auto attack and we kill him. So there we go, special attack. We don't have any particle effects which gives out effects like in my game. But next tutorial we're going to have special effects which actually gives out effects after you do the special attack. So there you go guys, special attack video. If you like the video, please comment, subscribe, favorite, like, all the good stuff. Really helps me a lot. Bye bye, guys.